Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I told you I was gonna make a video about my study plan for studying for the Nclex and finally passing. So I'm just making this video, see maybe someone's in the same shoes as me that's curious how I studied. So I'm just gonna go through all my resources, tell you like how much time I took to take the exam, and basically maybe like give some more tips. So I got my ATT, authority test number, early June. I graduated late May, and I scheduled my exam for July 29. So I didn't study or start studying until I set my test date. And I know, yeah, you should start a little bit earlier, maybe like towards the end of nursing school, but for me, I it's kind of like I don't want to like overwhelm myself too much, but I kind of did. I don't know. Like, I guess my first tip would be to do what you do in nursing school. How did you study? Don't do something new. Like, just, do what's best for you, what you're comfortable in. But for me, I need a test date. So once it's all done, I'm like, okay, I think I gave myself, it was what, 2.5 months to study. So the first resource I used, my older brothers are actually nurses now, and they told me about this resource. So Hearst, I don't know if you heard of it, you probably have, but it's a pretty good resource. They have these really good videos. They go through each contact topic, and basically, hold on, I have it right here. So this is the Hearst book, and basically, it goes by chapter. It's like, oh, can't see that. Yeah, see, it's like fill in the blanks, and it helps you follow along to the lecture. Since I know like people, like when they listen to a lecture, they zone out. Like I had my fair share of that, but I think the videos were very helpful in establishing core content and honestly knowing the basics, because the Nclex is computer adaptive, so you want to know your core content to get the easy questions out of the way so you get to the hard questions. So Hearst, I did that for 2 weeks. I listened to the videos, I wrote in the book, wrote little notes on the side, and then that was good for the first 2 weeks. It was making me feel more comfortable in the content, because the test is like, it goes all the way back to fundamentals, so you should like definitely have a good basis. But yeah, I started with Hearst, then I actually got UWorld, and it's a very popular resource. Like, everyone I know has used UWorld to pass, and I truly understand now after using it. So UWorld, there's different plans. I think I got the 1 month plan. Was it 1 month? Maybe it was like 1 month. It was the one that came with the one assessment. So basically, it's a bank with around 2,000 questions. Um, and as I was going, when you do the questions, the rationales are very detailed. They help you understand like why this question was this answer was right. They tell you like how to think, and I really enjoyed it. Honestly, like it was a really good resource. I used it when I started studying, all the way towards the day before I took the Nclex. So, UWorld, definitely love the rationales. And how I did UWorld was I did not want to overwhelm myself, so I started with maybe 25 questions on test mode. You know, And then like as it came closer to the date, I would do 50 question tests, 75 question tests. So I was doing maybe, I have no clue, like definitely like over 130 questions a day. But, you know, the point of UWorld is not the test scores, it's using it as a study tool, because the rationales are going to help you understand it better. Like, you're not going to see those questions on the actual exam, maybe something similar in a topic, and it'll help give you some basis on how to answer the questions on the Nclex. So, definitely, I'm not sponsoring this, but I really like that program. And back to the scores, I did my self-assessment 1 week before the exam, because my friends like, do it 1 week before, it'll give you confidence if you do really well. I was like, okay. So I was, depending on how I did on the UWorld assessment, I was going to maybe move up my test date. And I did it, and I got borderline passing. So now I'm like, this is scaring me now. I am not moving it now. I kept it the same day. I was only gonna move maybe like 5 days ahead, but I'm glad I didn't move it, you know. So, just to emphasize, don't worry about the test scores. So after I finished all the bank, the 2,000 questions, basically I went through all the incorrect questions, and that helped reinforce what my weak areas were. So I think my weak areas were like OB. Actually really liked OB actually in school, but you know, I guess I was a bit rusty, and I guess the more fundamentals aspect of it. So yeah, UWorld was a big thing. And my next resource I used was this book, Prioritization, Delegation, and Assessment by La Charity. So this book is really good because if you know, the Nclex is divided into, I think, 8 domains. And the biggest section that's tested is management of care. So as a nurse, you're gonna need to know how to prioritize, delegate, and assign. And I knew that that was definitely gonna be big on the test. So that book helped me. I went through each. There's like 22 chapters. I didn't do the case study section, but there's maybe like 30 to 50 questions per chapter. They go by like fluids and electrolytes, oncology, like a lot of topics. So I basically, as I was going through the questions, I would look at the rationale, look at it, maybe circle some stuff, keywords to help it stay in my brain. I'm like, because sometimes information goes in my brain and it leaves, and you definitely want it to stay in your long-term memory. I think that's very important. So yeah, I definitely started using that book maybe the last 2-3 weeks before my exam, so it was really helpful. Another source I used was Mark K. lecture audios, and if you haven't heard of him, he actually wrote the questions back in 2003, and he doesn't write the questions anymore, but he helps you memorize all these mnemonics, ways to memorize. I think you can find them if you Google him. There's 12 audio clips. They're about like an hour, 1 to 2 hours, and I really suggest that you utilize that if you can. Oh, I have it here. Hold on. So on the website, I printed all these notes out. They're double-sided. Oh, wait. You see that better. So basically, you have 12 lectures, and it helped me memorize some more important stuff to remember. But some of the drugs it is a very old audio recording, so some of the drugs he used are a bit outdated. So I would suggest when he mentions a drug, go on Google, look at the generic name, because the Nclex doesn't test brand names. So definitely know that. And I basically, since they're very long recordings, I would do maybe one a day, and then I eventually was doing two a day. I went through each recording maybe twice or a little bit over. And then when the test date was coming up, I actually took the topics I felt I needed to brush up. So like I said, OB, uh, OB is a cool topic, but I don't know why it wasn't sticking with me. But I went through those recordings and prioritization the date of the exam. So depending on what time your exam is, I would suggest maybe brushing it up, not do hardcore studying. I wouldn't suggest that at all. But yeah, I definitely went through those, helped stick with me. And yeah, what's my next one? Oh, you could probably YouTube this, but Simple Nursing. So that YouTube channel. So another weak point of me was pharmacology. And there were so many like drug classes I forgot. Like side effects is very important on the test. I was definitely tested on it like a bunch of times, but it really helped me know what's the important stuff to take away from the exam. So definitely Simple Nursing questions. Not questions, videos, and they have some free ones there. I didn't buy it, but I definitely utilized it. So I like made like these little flashcards, and I basically wrote the ones that I felt was important, and I went through them maybe twice. Again, the night before I went over it again. So yeah, flashcards help me memorize stuff because then again I told you information goes in then out. So like you want to retain it. So that definitely helped me, and but yeah, again, this test is it's very broad. It's all nursing school, but you definitely people always say they don't feel prepared, and like for me, I did the best if I can, so sorry, but definitely have confidence. Confidence is key. Like for me, I told myself I don't know everything, but I know a good amount. So I'm gonna try my best shot at this. And I went at my own pace. So my friends actually, they tested a lot earlier than me. They tested maybe 1 week. I know that's crazy. And then my other friend 1 month. And then they all passed. So for me, that was giving me some secondhand anxiety. But I told myself, I know me, I'm not them. I need to focus on what I know and how I can best prepare for myself. Because, it's never really good to compare yourself, but of course, we're, we're ourselves are, you know, we're not too kind to ourselves, like it just happens, But yeah, definitely I kept my test date. I want to move it like 5 times just because my friends all had their passing, like so don't do that. That's my advice. And what else? I'm just looking at my I have like a whole bag. Oh, I forgot this. So back to you, world. What I did is I'm the type who just can't read it. I need to write it down. So basically, what I did is I got a notebook, and as I did UWorld questions by topic. So I started with adult health, respiratory, cardiovascular, each questions in each section, and then the rationales afterwards. I would go through them, and I would write like here, not too much, maybe like 2 bullet points about the important part of the question, and basically I did that for right and wrong questions, so I was retaining, cause, even if you get a question right, the way you got there, maybe you might have been guessing, you had the wrong mindset when answering, like you didn't think of it the way it was supposed to be that, so definitely do that. It's very, for me, it was very time consuming, but, I gave myself 2.5 months, you know. But of course, my friends who also used UWorld, they just did lots, like 200 questions a day. Then they'll just read over the only ones they got wrong, which is fine. Everyone's very different. So, definitely, I did that. My book was like, I had to use 2 notebooks. It was like this big. So, yeah, what else? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the test day, I guess. Night before, they tell you don't study. I studied a little bit. I did 75 more questions, and you're not supposed to. I forced myself to relax most of the day. I was just watching anime. I was like, okay, here we go, here we go. And I slept earlier that day, woke up, forced myself to eat breakfast. I listened to the audios one last time. I tested at 1:30. So basically, I left for the test center an hour before because of traffic. Got there pretty early, and I just went in straight in, like at 12:40. I was like maybe, yeah, 40 minutes early to the test. I went in, they let me test right away. The testing people were super nice. I was really like, I was just like, oh gosh, try not to freak out. But, I don't know if you know the process, but like they do like vein check, they sign your name, take a picture. It's a very secure test, and it was proctored. It was in this room. I I know it's like little things from the test, like the experience. Like I was like, I heard the AC, and it was cold. It was warm. It was cold, and that was a little bit distracting. It wasn't a really big thing, but yeah. So basically, tests, in my opinion, it was very vague, like not as detailed as UWorld questions. It's like either you know it or you didn't know it, and of course you're gonna find stuff on the test that you don't know. So what's best is to just take a deep breath, read the question, and make an educated guess. Like what Mark K told me was, first use your knowledge, then use common sense, and then use an educated guess. Because there are definitely a lot of stuff I didn't know, but you gotta keep telling yourself. Mark K also says, I'm still in the game. I'm still in the game. So when I went past 60 questions, which is the minimum for COVID right now, I was like, okay, I have time to prove myself. So try not to freak out. Go in there not expecting the minimum, but the maximum. Taking, and and I guess take breaks if you want. Like for me, it took me about 3 hours to take the exam. Around 2 hours, the screen turned blue, and I was like, did it shut off? But a little pop-up was like, do you want to take a break? And I was like, I have like 30 more questions. Wait, is it 30 now? 30 more questions left. So I'm just gonna keep going. And I was really not nice to my brain. I was like, my brain was like exhausted. 2 hours of just looking at questions and like, next. Like, you know, it's scary. It's a scary experience, but you know, after the test, it's kind of like a blur. You're like, that just happened. So I ran to my car. It was super hot that day, and yeah, I did the trick. Good pop up. Okay, good, but that's not like official. But when I saw the good pop up, I was like, oh, I felt like, you know, I finally did it. That was my brain. Like, any glimpse of hope, I was like, yes. So 48 hours is when you get the quick results. That was the worst 48 hours because I was like, did I really do it? No, I don't know if I did it. Maybe, I don't know. So, and then I was at 40 hours. I purchased it. It was like $8, and yeah, I'm officially a registered nurse. I know in some states, they actually give it to you in less than 24 hours, but I'm from New York, so they don't really put your name on the site till 2 weeks after passing. So yeah, so that's basically my whole study plan. Um, I use so many resources, and I know people say don't do that, but for me, if I am on a resource for too long, it gets stale. I don't want to look at it, so you just switch to another one, another resource. Keep your brain active. And when I didn't want to look at URL questions, I went on YouTube and found Simple Nursing, and they helped. It helped me. So yeah, definitely, everyone's test is so different, but like I said, go in knowing a good amount for yourself that makes you comfortable, because it's a hard test. It's computer adaptive. It will give you harder questions if you keep getting the easy questions right, and that's a good sign. So try not to be too hard on yourself. I know I was very I went too hard, but of course you want to do your best, especially I keep telling myself I don't want to take this again. I really don't want to take this again. So basically, yeah, it's I you mean you pass nursing school, you're gonna pass this, and you're just gonna be a registered nurse and save lives. So yeah, that's all I have for today. This is my longest video, but I thought it was very important to make this, cause you know maybe I'll be helping someone, and yeah, I'm still really new to this vlog thing, so yeah, I don't know. Hope it was alright, this video, so not too confusing. I know like my storytelling time is like all over the place, like but if you stay for the rest of the video, thanks for watching, and I will make more videos. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So thanks guys.